Does that make sense?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, in their own ways, I'm not the biggest Bond fan, but even I'm as far as I know, this is kind of like the redhead stepchild of the Bond films,
especially the modern ones.
Yeah, even more so than On Her Majesty's Secret Service, which is the Lazenby one that everyone seems to hate. I don't think Lazenby is the worst thing ever, but
I need to see that one again.
But I mean, there are people who thought that Casino Royale wasn't a good Bond movie, but
I actually,
as a character film,
we're gonna get a little sidetracked there, but I'll say that I did not like Casino Royale like the first 3 times I watched it.
Oh.
That one was the developed taste that I know I really like it.
Maybe it's just me. There's a certain kind of Bond film that I like, and Skyfall I think hit it right on the nose. Of like, I prefer kind of a more character-driven movie, which Casino Royale did. Which my
favorite's still Goldeneye.
Skyfall did. Well, yeah.
Like that Goldeneye.
Oh, Goldeneye was fantastic. It was really good.
I think if
it's not, like I said, I'm not a huge Bond guy. It's not all my cup of tea, but I can see why people would like Goldeneye. Now, I cannot see why some people would like some of the Sean Connery Bonds. Crucify me if you will, but those were really stupid movies.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Not even endearing stupid.
Some of the classics, like, they really have some... Like, I mean, we were going to talk about this, but Bond films traditionally, or typically, whichever way we want to look at it, have serious pacing issues.
Yeah.
Especially the classics where there wasn't as much action sequence going on because we're in the 60s, we're figuring things out. So there was a lot of, like, needless sneaking around and, like, not exciting gunfights.
Now, when they did things, I think the effects were really, really good for their times. The gadgets and all the stuff in there. I can acknowledge that technically they were good. It's just that from a character and writing standpoint, I never really identified with the Bond movie. Maybe it's because I couldn't attract a woman if I tried, but...
You gotta identify with a character that you're similar to.
Yeah. The kind of smug satisfaction that, like, I'm the best at what I do.
Yeah, see, Brosnan feels more like a suave agent, whereas Craig feels more like a secret agent, like real action army guy. Does that make sense? He has that ruggedness to him, actually.
But what I like about both Bond and about Craig and Brosnan is that they both had this kind of, I guess, vulnerability. Like, not vulnerable in that sense, but like, they seem mortal, whereas in like the Sean Connery ones, they just seem like
you can't.
I never felt like there was any
real risk
there.
Yeah.
Aside from the thing about him being the North Korean general's son, I don't remember anything about him.
No, he had no character. He was just like, I'm rich and I'm going to use the sun for something crazy.
It was the other overused plot of there's a space laser and Bond has to stop it. It's like
bad.
Nightfire. It's like Goldeneye. There's a giant space laser. Nightfire. We got a giant space missile launcher with a space laser.
Moonraker.
But
that's the classic one.
But that's
the same thing.
Yeah. So.
Hey, you know, maybe that's what the Craig trilogy did right.
Not having space lasers.
Not having space lasers.
Yeah. Well, I can see that in the older Bond movies because it was like this kind of the era of the space race. Yeah. Space was a big thing. I can see that more in one of those older movies. And even Goldeneye was kind of pushing that idea, but Goldeneye still worked.
See, I guess as much as I like Goldeneye, I actually feel like Goldeneye is about 5 or 10 years past when it would have been its best part because it's about like Russians and space lasers in the mid-90s.
Yeah,
they weren't doing anything.
That was pushing it a little bit, but you know, Goldeneye was still fine because at least the laser had like a purpose that kind of made sense, whereas him was just, we're gonna take this sun laser and make it hot in places where it's not hot.
Well, he was trying to blow up...
That's his legitimate business.
He was trying to blow up all the mines in the ceasefire zone between North and South Korea.
Right, yeah.
Which is a legitimate thing.
That was his end game.
Yes.
So, yeah.
I'm not sure...
I just think that, like, the listed purpose, I don't think anyone would have been buying that for a second.
But what was the advantage of blowing up all the mines?
Because then North Korea could cross the demilitarized zone and send their army into
Does North Korea not have planes?
James, I showed you that picture of their space launch station. If they do, it's like the Leonardo da Vinci flying screw with a bicycle on the bottom of it that doesn't work.
I'd apologize to our North Korean viewers,
but there aren't any.
But I know that we don't have any. We have some American viewers.
Well, also they're not allowed to watch things.
That's what I'm saying. So. Well, they wouldn't want to watch it, and they've been told not to watch it, and it's been reinforced. Why are we talking about North
Well, no,
Korea?
they could take this video and use it to weaponize it against the viewing public in America.
See, this is why
so.
you shouldn't watch videos by Americans.
No. We just don't talk about anything worthwhile. Can we talk about Star Wars instead?
No, we can't. We're talking about Die Another Day. Even the new Bonds, most of the new Bonds did not have great sequences.
I really like Casino Royale sequence.
I thought it was overkill. I thought it was too stylized.
I
I was like, look at these bad models done in silhouettes. They were not good models.
Well,
the animation was good, but the models were.
No, they weren't. But I think that was like kind of the point. They were supposed to be kind of.
I could talk for a whole
angular, like kind of like there was the card theme going on there. Everything was supposed to be kind of angular.
I could talk for a whole
like
for a whole podcast about how I hate how like all these games are coming out now that are like retro and are using like Minecraft graphics.
Yeah.
It's like that's not retro, and two, just because it's easy doesn't mean you should.
Spoiler warning: Minecraft's not fun.
So we started making up our own plot where Pierce Brosnan Bond was secretly an otaku, but he brings like a life-size body pillow that he talks to and names, and like
and he's apparently legally married too.
I like how
he has lover married couple fights with his pillow.
I like how we use words like apparently, like we're surprised by this, even though we're making up the details. So we called it Double Otaku. It was pretty great.
His wife, Suzuka-chan.
So if you get a chance to watch Double Otaku, I definitely recommend that version.
I would recommend
Die Another Day.
I think that Double Otaku is much better than Die Another Day.
If you just keep hitting the audio track button, like
eventually the body pillow shows up.
No, about 800 times you'll start hearing us talk about Double Otaku instead of the original dialogue. It's an improvement.
Which really doesn't make sense.
When it comes to certain films or franchises, like it can be a good movie for what it is and be a bad movie on its own merits.
Yeah.
And vice versa. It can be a well done movie, but then a bad adaptation.
Just like for me, Kingdom of the Crystal Skull was an awful Indiana Jones movie, but it wasn't an awful movie.
It was just not a very interesting one.
Yeah, it was just a mediocre movie. Crystal Skull was a mediocre movie.
Are we using mediocre in its actual definition or its modern use? Because modern use means below average, but mediocre actually means average.
No, that's what I mean. Yeah, mediocre is average. When I say something's mediocre, I just...
Because I use mediocre as a derogative term.
Oh.
For instance, Jim is mediocre.
Well, yeah. That's because I don't try.
And if he tried, then he would be Jim's version of mediocre.
Yeah.
That was our 17-minute review.